Recent shortages of fruit and vegetables such as tomatoes have again shown what can happen when supply chains are disrupted. So keeping disruptions to a minimum is all important in the logistics industry. And for a lot of businesses, that increasingly means using automation in fulfillments. Well, GreyOrange automates the warehouses, distribution and fulfillment centres for clients such as Gap, Walmart and H&M around the world. Its co-founder and chief executive, Samay Kohli, joins me now. Samay, welcome to you. What proportion of warehouses around the world could currently be described as smart?
Ian, unfortunately, very, very low. I think less than 4-5%.
Right. So, well, I mean, that means you've got a huge addressable market opening up before you.
Absolutely. I think it's a huge market, and it's really, I think, everything from the pandemic to all the supply chain shortage to the war in Ukraine has completely brought, this weakness in our supply chain out, right? And as you were mentioning, it's the same that's happening right now with all the food shortage.
But why is automation in warehouses that low around the world? I'm really quite surprised.
So, Ian, the reason it's been short is really because there was no need to automate, right? Like it's always been a cost center, right? So warehouses were always seen as like you just keep reducing costs and you don't need to change much, right? And as a result, right, what happened was once the pandemic hit and we started getting all this supply chain disruption, right, we've started realizing that, like it's very, very susceptible to disruption. And that's why, I think we're just catching up, right? Just for a number, in Amazon has almost close to 1 million robots deployed in its fulfillment centers, whereas probably the rest of all leading brands have 20 to 30,000 deployed. So it's really a catch up.
What would you say to all those people who fret that the robots are going to take their jobs? I mean, these warehouses do employ an awful lot of human beings.
Actually, what we see is that these warehouses have some of the highest attrition rates. So nobody really wants to work in these, right? Like we see attrition rates as high as 3,000%, right? So what really is happening is that, a typical worker in a warehouse walks anywhere between 16 to 17 kilometers, right? So it's the equivalent of going to gym every day. So it's not like people want to do this job. As a result, actually what we see is that attrition's going down because once you work along with robots, you start actually enjoying your job. And if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I saw some research that you published recently suggesting that British retail businesses in particular were struggling with automation of their warehouses. Why is that?
Firstly, unfortunately, British businesses as a whole are the least automated, in the G7. So unfortunately, we're all playing a big catch up right now. So and post Brexit, right, all the labor shortage, pandemic, it's a perfect storm right now. So we've seen massive demand coming out of the UK to just catch up on trying to come up with the labor shortage.
So it's labour shortage. I'm interested. It's labour shortages rather than a sort of lack of willingness of UK businesses to invest in this sort of automation.
That's true. That's true. I do think it's changing very, very fast in the UK, right? I would say the number of queries we've started getting over the last couple of years out of UK has tripled. So in some sense, it's much, much better right now, but has been a shortcoming in the UK because we don't have that much automation here. Right. So it's generally the industry is not used to automating, not just in the warehouse. I think everywhere there is a big catch up. And I really think it's a do or die moment. We have to automate.
Now, your business is very interesting. You were founded in Singapore, but you relocated 5 years ago to the United States. What was the thinking behind that?
Sure. I just feel like the demand, we followed the demand. We started the company when we were in the US and then moved to Singapore as e-commerce was taking off in Asia. So I think 5 years ago, we really saw how really large warehouses were being created in the US by Amazon. So that really was the opportunity that nobody other than Amazon was really taking the lead in automation. So for us, it was a perfect opportunity.
All right, Samay, got to leave it there. Good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much.